Hi guys, welcome back to Unwrap City, and here we don't just compare speakers, but we blast holes in ceiling with Atmos magic. Now imagine songs breaking the rules of gravity, not just coming from the left or right, but from directly above you and all around you. Atmos isn't just a feature, but it's also a battlefield. And today we have two of the best stepping into the ring. First of all, we have the Polk XT90 3D Dolby Atmos speaker, known for its brute force and its crowd-pleasing power. It's gonna go head-to-head with the ELAC debut 2.0 A4.2 speaker, a precision-engineered weapon of sonic details. So, if you're building a home theater that don't just sounds good, but feels like a cinematic assault, then this comparison is definitely your roadmap. This isn't just a speaker comparison, but it's a collision between power and precision. You have the Polk XT90, which is more like the brawler, and then you have the ELAC 2.0, which is more like the tactician. Both of them promised Dolby Atmos magic, but which will leave your ceiling trembling? Let's find that out right now. In terms of size comparison, obviously you can see the difference in length. The ELAC is slightly longer than the Polk, but the Polk just inches over the ELAC in terms of height. As mentioned before from a previous video, the Polk is a seal height speaker built with medium density fiberboard. It's not plastic, it's not hollow. This is the same dense wood composite used in premium studio monitors. Why? Because the MFD doesn't flex, it damps vibration. That means the song you hear isn't tinted by cabinet shaking. It's clean, it's pure, and it's also controlled. The ELAC is made from the same MDF material, but it's more heavily braced. It's engineered like a tank, but dressed like a gentleman. It has a texture that rejects glare and unwanted resonance, but when it comes to handling fingerprint, the Polk does a much better job. If I pass my fingers over the surface of the Polk, you would hardly see any fingerprint residue that's left behind. If I do the same thing for the ELAC, you will see it's like a fingerprint magnet, and you will see smudges on different parts of the surface. Me personally, I don't like to see my fingerprints over the surface of everything I touch, and it kind of looks messy, you know. So in terms of rejecting fingerprints and, you know, seeing less of your fingerprint after you finish setup, the Polk does a better job. This one you might have to give it a cleanup when you finish setting it up. The Polk uses a full range 4-inch bilaminated cone. That's two treated paper layers fused together. So it's lightweight, fast, it moves quickly, which is ideal for replicating fast firing heights effects like thunder and gunshots. But it has no dedicated tweeters. It handles everything from mids to heights in just one shot. Now the ELAC is a completely different beast. As you can see, there is a solid, strong metal mesh that's protecting the speaker. And it definitely feels that you need some special tools to remove this with special force. But it uses a concentric driver, an aramid fiber woofer. As you can see, it comes with a tiny tweeter mounted right in the center of the speaker there. What is aramid? It's the same material used for bulletproof vests. Ultra stiff, but yet incredibly light. The stiffness stops it from flexing when the song hits hard. So you don't just hear more, but you hear more accurately. And that concentric layout, it means surgical song. It means the high frequencies and mids come from the exact same point in space. Like a sniper and a spotter firing together. The result? Pinpoint placement of every footstep, every range up, every ceiling whisper. Now let's talk a little bit about the specs on these bad boys. The Polk XT90 was designed for Dolby Atmos, DTS:X as well as DTS Virtual X. The cabinet is a sealed MDF with internal bracing and vinyl wrapping. The driver, it's a 4-inch bilaminated paper woofer. It has a frequency response of 94 Hz to 22,000 kHz and sensitivity 89 decibel. It means louder with less power. And speaking of power, it handles between 30 to 100 watts, ohms between 4 to 8 ohms, and it weighs about 6 pounds. Mounting, there is a keyhole right at the back here in case you want to put it on a wall or you just want to place it on top of your front speakers, and a 5-way nickel binding port at the back for your banana plugs for your speaker wires. All right, so it comes well equipped. The ELAC has a black ash vinyl finish. It also has a seal MDF cabinet, vinyl wrapping, and internal bracing. There is also a 4-inch woven aramid fiber cone woofer, plus a 0.5 polymer dome tweeter in concentric setup. Has a frequency response of 180 Hz to 20,000 kHz and a sensitivity of 85 decibels. Handling power up to 80 watts and ohms between 4 to 8. It also weighs about 5.5 pounds, just half pounds lighter than the Polk, yeah. And in terms of mounting, this unfortunately can only be placed on the top of a speaker. It doesn't necessarily has the keyhole mount for wall head, just like the Polk. So that's one advantage the Polk has over it. So it doesn't include wall brackets. And in terms of port, there is a 5-way metal port here at the back for banana plug, just for your speaker here. So it also comes well equipped, except for that keyhole thing in the back where you can mount it on the wall. I mean, as creative as we are, we can find ways to do that as well if it suits. Now let's talk immersion, true spatial 3-dimensional immersion. With the Polk XT90, the Atmos effect feels broad. It fills the overhead. It's like a layer of floodlight, loud and sweeping. So there is presence. And from experience, you feel it overhead when you're not even listening for it. And that's thanks to the high sensitivity and open driver design. So it projects the sound further and faster. The ELAC, on the other hand, is like a painter with 1,000 brushes, if you know what I mean. You don't just hear the rain from above, but you hear the space between the drops. Each reflection feels sculpted, more focused, more intimate. The concentric driver creates a dome of precision where every detail sits exactly where it belongs. Well, let's talk about the price. The Polk you can get between 80 to 140 pounds depending on where you shop. You know, you get a seal MDF closure, flexible mounting, full range driver, no fuss setup. The ELAC, on the other hand, it's a different league. Typically around 150 to about 260 pounds. Again, it depends on where you shop. And with the ELAC, you're paying for a woven aramid fiber, concentric architecture, sonic finesse, and synergy with the rest of the Debut 2.0 lineup. Now, which one is better in my opinion, based on living with them, testing them at different angles, different scene? Here's what I can tell you. If you want big sound, if you want plug and play intensity, and don't want to spend hours fussing over calibrating, then go with the Polk. It's fun, it's fierce, and it will rip the ceiling off the next movie night. However, if you are chasing detail, if you want to hear a spaceship hover over before you see it, or if your ears notice a whisper coming from 20 degrees northeast instead of straight above, then the ELAC is your new religion. I am still deciding which one is my personal favorite. I'm going to listen them more, place them in different angles, and just run more rigorous tests with them, and then I'll figure out which is my number one. If this video has been helpful to you, hey, don't forget to make a comment, or hey, just give it a thumbs up or like. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of Dolby Atmos Magic with Unwrap City. Thank you, and look forward to hearing from you and seeing your engagement.